We are going to start the service for Baruch ben Avram, Robert Barnum, with a prayer from the book of Psalms, book of Tehillim, chapter 91. I'm going to read it in Hebrew. Yoshev b'Seser Elyon b'Sel Shaddai Yislonan Omar Ladinoi Machsi Tudasi Elahai Eftach Boi Kihu Yatzilcha Mipach Yakush Mideber Havuvais Bavrasa Yasas Lach V'Sachas Kanafaf Techsa Sina V'Sachera Amitai Leisira Mipachad Loila Mechetz Yof Yomam Midever Ba'ofel Yalov Miketav Yashut Tzarayim Yipol Mitzidcha Elaf Urvava Miminacha Elacha Lo Yigash Rak Beinecha Sabit Mishlumas Rishayim Tira Kiyata Dinai Maxi Elyon Samta Monecha Lo Seuna Elacha Ra Venega Leikrav Bahalacha. Kimalachav Today, as we are gathered to pay our final respects to Baruch ben Avram, Robert Barnum, or as he would like to be called simply, Bob. In Judaism, we believe that the soul lives on forever, and upon passing on from this physical world, the soul of the departed goes on to a higher, more spiritual world, Olam Ha'emet, the world of truth. And so, as we part ways, we also keep in mind that Bob continues to live on, and today we are accompanying him on his journey to the next world. By our presence here today, virtually, we are helping to ease the process. I would like to begin the service with a portion of Tehillim, chapter 23, which we're going to read first in Hebrew and then in English. Mizmar LeDavid Adonai Royi Layachzar B'nais Dasha Yarbitzeni Almei Menuchas Yinhaleni Nafshi Yesheviv Yancheni V'Maglei Tzedek L'Ma'an Shemai Gam Ki Elech B'Geit Salmaves Le'ira Ra Ki Ata Imadi Shiftecha Umish'antecha Heimai Nachamuni Tarech Lefanai Shulchan Neged Serurai Dishanta Vashem and Reishi Kaisi Revaya Ach Toiva Chesed Yudafuni Kalamei Chayai V'Shavti V'Beis Adonai La'orach Yamin. Psalm by David. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall lack nothing. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside still waters. He revives my soul. He directs me in the path of righteousness for the sake of his name. Even if I walk in the valley of shadows of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they will comfort me. You will prepare a table before my enemies. You have anointed my head with oil. My cup is full. Only goodness and kindness shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord for many long years. Before I read their eulogy, I would like to mention that Rabbi Alter Korf, the Chabad rabbi of the Jewish Community Center in St. Petersburg, who is a close friend of Bob, wrote this eulogy, but for unavoidable situation, he could not make it here today. Our sages in the Mishnah say, Aseh lecha rav, uknei lecha chaber. Make for yourself a rabbi and acquire for yourself a friend. I had the good fortune to know Bob for many years as a rabbi and as a dear friend. So today, as we say goodbye to Bob, and as we honor him and celebrate his life, I talk to you from that standpoint as a rabbi, but even more as a good friend. V'hachai yitain en libai. Says Shlomo HaMelech, the wise King Solomon in the book of Kohelet. We, his friends and family, keep him alive in this world by taking to heart to try and learn from his good traits and be inspired from his ways. I won't be able to do justice to his entire life, but I would like to share some thoughts and stories from a personal standpoint that will give us a window into his character and soul, and that we call all to learn from. I am heartbroken to be standing here eulogizing Baruch ben Avraham, a dear brother to Scott, an uncle to his niece and nephews, cousin, special friend, and for many of us, a fantastic Kiddush buddy, where we would sit each week after services and connect. He was like a family to us. Robert, Bob, was a man who never let life get him down. He was always happy, a smile always on his face. Bob was many things, a diligent and professional realtor who took much joy in his work. He loved making a deal and was good at it, in advising and mentoring many aspiring realtors, a noble and devoted son and brother, a warrior for so many worthy causes, the stranger who instantly became your pal, and a loyal and loving friend. Bob had a heart of gold and was a man of chesed, a man of loving kindness, tremendous inner strength, joy, and courage. Bob would speak fondly of his childhood with his dear sister Deborah and brother Scott, and he enjoyed sharing his memories of the Borscht Belt, his bar mitzvah, and the honored guests who attended. Bob moved to Tampa Bay from Long Island when he was 16 years old and was a realtor in Pinellas for more than a quarter of a century. And most recently, the owner of Ernest Realty. He moved back north to earn a business degree at New York University and returned to the Bay Area in 1972. He worked in a bagel company, opening franchises, and later had a local catering business. One story that Bob loved to tell was when he catered a full Seder dinner for a client in Tampa. Hours before Passover, she called in a panic. "Help me," she cried. "You forgot to send me the salt water." Bob patiently gave her the recipe for salt water over the phone. "Take some salt and some water and mix it." She calmly went on to enjoy her Seder. In the ethics of our fathers, we learn the following: Kol sheruach habris neicha himenu, ruach hamakim neicha himenu. Anyone with whom his fellow men are pleased and find pleasant, God is pleased with him as well. In the last 4 days since Bob passed away, I have seen a tremendous outpouring of sentiments from friends and family in the St. Pete and across the world about Bob's kindness, compassion, friendship, support, and talent. One fellow wrote about a hug Bob gave him 20 years ago, and they have been friends since. Bob was truly loved by so many and helped so many people. Surely God is pleased with him. The amazing thing about Bob was that while you were in his presence, you were the most important person. One would have no idea that this humble gentleman was so loved by so many, involved with so many advocacy groups, and was active in the local theater and so much more. His passing was on the front page of Sunday's Tampa Bay Times. And a tweet from the mayor of the great city that reads, "Bob Barnum was a great guy. He was especially kind to the St. Pete Police Department and dedicated himself to many causes in our city. I will miss our friend and forever be thankful for his support." Bob had a heart of gold, and he shared that golden heart with everyone who came into his world. From those looking to buy a home, to those who rented one of his apartments, to supporting those suffering abuse, to encouraging and supporting his staff in the catering business. Bob was kind to everyone and treated everyone with dignity. Whenever Bob came to our home, he knew exactly which treats to bring for our children, babka and cookies from Trader Joe's. On a family note, Bob's sister Deborah had some health issues later in her life, and Bob took care of all her needs, always concerned that she would outlive him and who would take care of her then. Truly a selfless individual. His family was a prominent importance to him, and he shouldered many responsibilities to take care for them all. Over the years that I've known Bob, I came to see the warmth of his Yiddish neshama and his connection to Hashem. Baruch was a proud Jew, and his golden heart expressed itself more in his love for Torah, for his fellow Jews, and just for being Jewish. It was one very joyous Jewish holiday called Simchat Torah that Bob loved to recall to me as a significant inspiration for his deepened Jewish connection. Bob knew in his heart what it means to be Jewish, to learn, to grow, to live, to love, to contribute to the world and to yourself, to make the world a better place and yourself a better person. One of his joys was coming to our Camp Gan Israel and doing a cooking project with the campers. He would just quell watching the campers making challah, babka, and rugelach. For Shavuot, he ventured back to his old forte in catering and made some lavish cheesecake buffet for Shavuos. Judaism was a big part to him, and the Jewish identity was critical. One of my favorite text exchanges from Baruch took place late at night. As we discussed plans to meet up the next day for some Chabad-related business, he took a photo of his bedside table, where he had a Hebrew card from our Hebrew reading course. It was the Moda Ani, a prayer giving thanks to God for another day. He wrote, "I say this every morning before I get out of bed." Bob had an unshakable trust in the one above, mentioning Hashem, God, in 80% of our conversations. 2 years ago, I approached Bob for his opinion and expertise with the location for building the Chabad Center for Jewish Life and Living. With excitement, he volunteered his service and threw himself into the huge job of finding the perfect location and piece of property. To say that he spent over 150 hours working on this project would not be an exaggeration. And he did it all so happily pro bono. The community and the Jewish life here in St. Pete will definitely be a wonderful merit and legacy for him on high. Though he had numerous health challenges, Bob remained positive, upbeat, and an optimistic person. He always believed he'll survive, and not survive, but thrive. He defied his doctor's grim prognosis time and again, bouncing back to live another day again and again. He never ever gave up. Family and friends. Our sages tell us that when a person is born, his soul, his neshama, does not want to descend. It is living in soul paradise where it's very comfortable. The soul has to be forced to come down into this rough physical world. But when time comes, it does not want to leave. This is because Olam Hazeh, this world, is the world of deed. the land of opportunity. A soul by itself is precious, but it can only accomplish when inside a body. And when, like the stock market closes, there's no more dealings, so too, every moment here on earth is precious. This puts us in a very unique position. We still live in this world, and therefore, when we, close relatives or friends, do things in honor of the soul of the departed, not only are we doing this in Baruch's memory, but we can actually help him rise and go to his rightful, peaceful place in paradise. We have heard about some of the special traits by Bob Baruch. If we go out from here and we do a little act of charity in his honor, if we bring an extra smile to someone's face, or do someone an undeserved kindness in his honor, if we say an extra prayer or do another mitzvah in his honor, then not only will we have done something in his memory, but we also will have done a great favor to him. And this will continue his legacy and life down here on this earth. Not long ago, he hosted a Kiddush at Chabad Center after the services on Shabbat to honor his sister Debbie on the occasion of her yahrzeit, and he noticed there were no shot glasses, so he purchased 1,000 of them. I guess the loving memory of the community he was and the incredible friendship and bonds he was part of, he wanted to be sure that we continue to be tighter and enjoy each other's company and value life, friendship, brotherhood. That's what he was all about, living that kind of mark. Social distancing is such an important part of how we are protecting lives today, which is why we are joining virtually. This is what Bob would want, that his friends and loved ones be healthy. But social distancing is not in the DNA of Bob's soul. He could not tolerate such a world. And knowing him, I think he wanted to have a word with Hashem, with the one above, and let him know that he can't live in such a world where grandmas and grandpas are forced to be apart from their grandchildren, not being able to embrace, not a hug, not a handshake. That's not a world Bob can handle. I think he is storming the heavens, demanding from the Almighty to end the suffering and pain, and put an ultimatum on high for a whole and complete Seder table, the way it is supposed to be, with a large table and lots of guests. Bob, from your place in heaven, we ask you to be a good Becher and High. Look out for us, your family and friends. Our sages tell us, Ner Hashem Nishmas Adam, God's candle is man's soul. Bob Barnum was a candle that never dimmed, and a soul whose light brightened the lives of all around him. May his light shine in our lives forever. It is customary, before we do the actual burial, for all the family and friends, those that are here and those that are watching, to take a moment and ask for forgiveness for anything that you may have done wrong throughout Bob's life. Bob's brother Scott was not able to be with us here, but he's watching virtually. And there's a custom that when a family member passes away, we rip kriya. Kriya is when we cut our garment right next to our heart to symbolize that our heart is not complete, our heart is not full. And while his brother does that, in a moment I'm going to make a blessing with his brother for the kriya. Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam Dayan Ha'emet. We are going to lower the casket. As we start to put the earth back in the Aron, David is going to give instructions to whoever's here who would like to participate in the burial process.
As you approach the grave, please be sure and watch your footing. We have gloves available for anybody who wishes to use them, hand sanitizer, and also wipes. When you are through with the shovel, do not hand it to the next person, but place it back into the earth. Thank you.
Scott, I'm going to be placing some earth for you. Going to finish off with a prayer. Lam natseach libnei karach mizmar shimu zais kol ha'amim hazinu kol yish v'cholad gam b'nei adam gam b'nei ish yachad asher ve'evyain ki yedaber chachmais v'hagus libis v'unais ata l'mashal azni echa kachiner chidasi lama ira ra b'meira avain Akeva Yisubini, Habritim al Felam, Ugrave Ashram Yishalalu. Ach Fada Yifta Ish, Layitim Lahim Kafre, Vikar Pidya Nafsham, the Chada La'ilam. Vichi Oid Lanatzach, Layira Hashachas, Kiyira Chachamim Yamusu, Yachat Kisil Bavar Yavedu, the Azur Lachirim Chelam. Kirbam Batema La'ilam, Mishkenesam Ladar Vadar, Karu b'shmeisam alei adamayis, v'adam bikar bal yalin nimshal kabehemis nidmu. Zedarkam kasalamay v'acharem b'fiyam yirtzisala. Katseim l'shol shatim avasirim v'yudubam yasharim labeker v'tzuram l'vali sha'ol muzvol lay. Ach l'him yifta nafshim miyad sha'ol yikachenisala. Al tira ki yasher ish ki yirba kvedesai ki lei v'meisa yikach hakol layered achara kvedai Ki nafshe b'chayiv yivarech v'yirtucha ki seitiv lach. Chadi adar avesav ad neitzach l'yir ar adam bika b'layavin nimshak abehemis nidmu. It's usually customary that we do Kaddish. Rabbi Korf, the Chabad rabbi in St. Pete, is arranging for someone to say Kaddish for the next 11 months in a place where it's still safe to get together for a minyan. It's a crazy time. People all over the world are mourning, and we don't have to explain the suffering that every family is going through right now. May God bless us, our families, our loved ones with good health. We should not know and continue to go through this suffering. May things turn around very quickly for all of us in a happy and a healthy way.
Thank you all for being here today. Thank you all. You're welcome to return to your cars. Thank you.